Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, then don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notification bell so that you don't have to miss on any of our interesting videos, and be part of the commenter squad by sharing your thoughts in the comment section down below. Now today I want us to take a look at a very interesting video. Ricardo Ignacio's video is a must watch as it breaks down the concept of palm color privilege with a palm color woman who's struggling to accept its reality. Now, as someone who's passionate about social justice, I appreciate how Ignacio approaches this conversation. The woman in the video shares her perspective on how Trump's policies are targeting people of color, but he gently challenges her to consider how her own palm color privilege affects her experiences. Now, their conversation is a powerful reminder that privilege is often invisible to those who have it. As he points out, privilege is not just about individual benefits, but also about the systemic advantages that come with being part of a dominant group. So in this video, I will be sharing my thoughts on Ignacio's conversation and exploring what palm color people can learn from this conversation. So with that said, let's take a look at the video. I will be right back.
Trump is targeting everybody with brown skin, and they don't care if you're Mexican, they don't care if you're Native American, they don't care if you're a citizen, they don't care.
How do you not benefit from this system as a white tea person? Come on.
How do I benefit from it?
No, first answer me how you don't, and I'll tell you how you do.
Because I'm looked down upon because I don't fit the mold.
What's the mold?
I don't have money. I don't have a car. I don't have the best of everything. I grew up with it, but I don't have it.
Elaborate. What do you mean you grew up with it, but you don't have it?
I grew up in a middle-class family.
Yeah.
Okay. But over the years, things have happened and it's gone. And I'm not saying this to get any sympathy or anything, because you know what? It is what it is. You live the life you're given, right? And try to make the best of it. I have not been through the struggles that brown people have been through. I have not been through the struggles that black people have been through. I've not been through the struggles yellow people have been through. I've not been through those struggles. I do say, oh, you know, they're Mexican, oh, they're black or whatever, but I don't care. I said, I don't look at color. I try not to look at color. I get darker in the sun too. I've been called a weta at the end of summer many times.
So basically your argument is you don't benefit from this system, and you want me to tell you if I claim that you do, how so? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go there. Let me go there with you. You acknowledge that you are white tea, of course.
Yes.
I'm not.
I know you're not.
If you do not benefit from this system, do people of your race get treated better than people not of your race?
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying as far as benefit. Yes.
So yes or no?
Yes, they do.
Is that not a privilege?
Unfortunately.
Fortunately for you.
I don't think it's fair and I don't think it's right.
But you acknowledge it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. But I guess I'm saying I don't want it to be a real thing, and that's where I'm getting at.
However, I do prove my point that you do have privilege, yes?
I do, yes. When it comes to getting a job, things like that, yes, I guess I do.
That is listen to me. Hold on, let me just say this. That is literally what white tea privilege is, because it's systemic. It's systemic. Okay? That's exactly what it means, because I've seen white tea people say things like they make videos, oh, I don't get a check in the mail. It's a systemic effort that benefits you at our expense.
But that doesn't mean I want to be a part of it. Yes, I'm white, and yes, I have no choice but to be a part of it.
You benefit from it, yes?
I guess I have, yeah.
That is exactly what privilege is. It means literally nothing else other than this.
Okay. But are you going to hold it against?
What do you mean when you say, are you going to hold it against me? What do you mean by that?
I don't want to be, I hate when I'm looked at for the color of my skin instead of the person I am. And I know it cannot be helped. I know it cannot be helped, but I don't like being looked at any more than y'all do, like being looked at for the color of my skin. I hate it. I don't want to be looked at as a person. instead of a thing.
I'm gonna pause you right there. That's the problem. Is you are looked at as a person, we are looked as a lesser than a person. What is it that you feel like I'm holding against you?
I guess when they start attacking YT people because we're all grouped together.
You feel like we here attack YT people? And if so, how so, please?
Not attack, but verbally. If I could change my color of skin to be a rainbow, I would. So I could fit in everywhere. But then again, I wouldn't exist because I'd be rainbow. I guess that's what it is. Not fitting in with everybody, if that makes sense. My dad had a store here. He didn't care about the color of his skin. He hired the first black pharmacist in Waco. I had friends that were here illegally. But you know what? I was the one that gave them sheets and towels for their house. You know? I'm the one that helped get their kids to and from school. I understand what y'all are saying and why y'all are saying it, and I'm not against it at all. I'm for it.
See, now I'm going to pause you right there. So you said, I understand what you guys say, what you say, and I'm for it. How are you for it if you feel attacked at the same time?
Because I'm admitting I'm wrong, is what I'm saying. I said I was wrong in saying that. My words were wrong. I was wrong in what I was saying.
When you did feel that we were attacking YT people, can you please give me examples of how you interpreted what we were saying as attacking YT people, please?
Because I keep forgetting I'm white. I don't forget I'm white. That's not the right words, but because of the circumstances of my birth, I am part of the problem.
It's not the circumstances of your birth why you're the problem. Part of the problem first was that you did not acknowledge and you denied your privilege. First, that's number one.
I was wrong.
Yeah. But I'm going to explain to you what the problem is. And it's not the circumstance of your birth what the problem is. I'm explaining to you what part of the problem is. Number one is you're in denial about your benefits at the expense of non-YT people. That's number one. Number two, you identified us addressing certain issues as attacking YT people. Now, check this out. If in a different world, in a different reality, you and I were relatives and we lived in a household out there in the middle of the woods, and we understood that every time we exited our little hut, if you will, to go get some wood, to go get some food, etc., and every time that we ran into, let's say, a leopard, and every time that we ran into a leopard, we were attacked by the leopard. If I tell you, hey, Lisa, when you go out there, be careful for the leopard. Be careful because they might eat you. Okay? Am I attacking the leopard?
No.
What am I doing?
Keeping both of us safe. The leopard and me.
Okay. So when I'm here speaking to brown and black people, the people that YT people have colonized, the people that we have over 500 years of history that attack us, that came to pillage, colonize, enslave, what am I doing?
Talking to your people and talking. Yeah, I get it.
Am I protecting my people?
Yeah. Yeah, you
Am
are.
I attacking you?
No. And again, I learned. I came here to learn and I learned. Thank you. Thank you, Ricardo.
Now with that said, now let's get back to reality. Let's get back to reality. In my humble opinion and understanding, the solution to this issue is not to come and try to address and control the narrative of non-YT people, but instead you as a YT person, you go into YT people's spaces and address those that are bigoted. To come in here and feel attacked and try to argue against us about what we're going through is not the solution. See, it's not the nature of you're born YT of what the problem is. It's the nature of you coming here to tone police, to control our narrative, and to try to guilt us for being aware of the colonizer.
That was definitely not my intention.
But that's exactly what was happening. Do you understand?
And that's why I'm apologizing profusely for it, because I learned tonight.
Since you like to come into my space and the space of non-YT people to get involved in these particular subject matter conversations, what if you open up a platform? You have a lot of followers. What if you open up your platform to welcome YT people to understand things of the conversation that you and I had?
We do talk about things like that because it affects us all. But then it hurts some of them so bad that they don't even want to be there.
They don't want to talk about it.
When we discuss about the problems going on here now, it brings them into such a mind space they don't even want to. Their thoughts go to bad places.
Let's say that you had your own home that your parents built for you, and you now inherited that particular home.
I did.
And you live there, right?
Yep.
And you're there happily minding your beautiful business,
Yep.
not bothering nobody.
Yep.
And here I come with my band of pirates, and we break into your home and take over, right? And I end up having children in that home, and I force you to stay in that room, and we'll take over the rest. We'll tell you when to come to the refrigerator and what you can get and what you can't. We'll set the rules of your own household. We'll tell you what you can do and can't do. You'll live by our rules and regulations. I teach my children to run your children. And after each generation, it continues this way. Eventually, your children will say, hey, I don't like the way we're living. This is our home. Why do we have to live under your rules? And my children will say, man, stop complaining. Why are you always complaining? We gave you a room over there. We allowed you to go to the refrigerator. Let me ask you a question, and please be as honest as possible.
Always.
In this particular scenario, what is the solution to solve the issue of this of your children and grandchildren? What is the solution here? How can your children's children, how can they again be free in their own home? What is the solution for them to be free again without this interference of these pirates and their descendants that are running your own house that you built? What is the solution for these people to have freedom in their own home again?
Off the top of my head would be to leave.
My children's children would have to leave. Yeah,
I would have to. My children would leave.
Why would they have to leave? Why would they have to leave if it's their home?
Well, at this point, it's your children's home too, as well, is it not? Because they've been living there for decades.
So I can justifiably claim this home that I stole, and if you don't like it, you get to leave?
No, what I'm saying is, after that long, it's owned by both.
Oh, is that correct?
That's my thinking, because...
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
You got to break a cycle. You've got to break the cycle. At some point, somehow get together, if that makes sense.
So basically, your great-grandchildren better get along with my great-grandchildren. And if you can't do that, you can leave.
No, that's not right either when you say it.
That's what you said, though.
Yeah. But when I hear it said back to me, that's not right.
So then what is right?
Your children have been there for decades.
Yeah.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
My children have been there for decades.
In your own home?
In our home. But after decades, to me, it would be... I don't believe in living in a world of hate. So my thought would be that at some point they would learn to get along and learn to be family, whether they have a family together or not. But technically they would have to have family together at some point. So Because either one or the other is going to suffer forever.
Ask me what I think the solution is.
What is the solution?
The solution is for the colonizer to go home.
I look at things from a humanitarian kind of.
There's nothing humanitarian about allowing invaders and colonizers to remain in a home that they've stolen, invaded.
Well, that's true. That's true. My grandparents came here as immigrants. Some came here illegally.
Who'd you ask permission when your people came here? Did you ask the Native Americans for permission, or did you ask other Europeans for permission?
I don't know that they asked permission. I don't know. I can't answer it. Do I think the way we've taken over America is right? No. I don't know that I want to go back to Ukraine, though.
Why not?
Because, it's death.
So the solution for people like you is to come basically occupy the homeland of another people.
I don't like being, just like everybody else, I hate being hated for the color of my skin. I hate the fact that I cry over everything.
Before I even share my 2 cents on this, I just want to say that I couldn't agree more with his breakdown of palm color privilege in his video. The way he calmly and clearly explains how systemic privilege works is truly eye-opening, especially for palm color people who always never want to accept how palm color privilege benefits them and how their skin color benefits them at the expense of others. Now, his conversation with this palm color woman who's struggling to accept her own privilege is a perfect example how these uncomfortable conversations need to happen. It's not about attacking individuals, but about acknowledging the ways in which our societies are structured to benefit some groups at the expense of others. As he points out, privilege is not just about individual benefits, but about the systemic advantages that come with being part of a dominant group. Now, this is exactly why it is important for those with privilege to listen, learn, and use their privilege to amplify the voices of those who are marginalized. Now, palm color privilege is a concept that highlights the unfair societal advantages that palm color people have over non-palm color people. It is something that is pervasive throughout society and exists in all of the major systems and institutions that operate in society, as well as on an interpersonal level. Now, the phrase palm color privilege was first coined by activist and scholar Peggy McIntosh in 1988 in her paper, Palm Color Privilege, Unpacking the Invisible Knapsack. Now, she described palm color privilege in terms of the unspoken advantage that the dominant culture has over Black and people of color. Now, for people who have never heard the term before, palm color privilege can evoke reactions of defensiveness and even outrage. And this concept has been termed as palm color fragility, coined by Robin DiAngelo, and the reactions range from shame, guilt, fear, avoidance, defensiveness, and discomfort to extreme reactions such as shaming, covert aggression, intolerability, invalidation, and weaponizing privilege. On the other hand, for some, the idea that a person could have special privileges just because of the color of their skin is an unsettling realization and can elicit feelings of shame, guilt, and confusion. If you're a palm color person and feel like the concept of palm color privilege doesn't pertain to you, you're likely mistaken. Now, if you're palm color and have grown up feeling as though others have advantages over you, perhaps regarding your wealth, you might bestow at the notion that you're in some way privileged because of your race. Palm color privilege is an advantage that protects palm color people against any form of discrimination related to their ethnicity and race. Palm color privilege, however, does not imply that palm color people have not or cannot experience challenges in life, but it means that any challenges that a palm color person has faced or may face is not related to the color of their skin. I also want to talk about how palm color privilege affects palm color people. A major issue that comes up in discussions about palm color privilege is that bringing up the topic of palm color privilege can often trigger defensiveness in palm color people. They may shut down and stop talking or stop listening. And this can be particularly true for palm color people who have grown up in poverty or perceive that their lives have been particularly challenging. They are left to wonder how they could possibly be privileged. The phrase makes it sound like an easy life, when in fact it is just referring to advantages conferred by race. Now, having palm color privilege doesn't mean that palm color people have never endured challenges and distressing events. It just means that their struggles have not been caused by their skin color. And this is one type of struggle worse than the other. That would be a matter of opinion, as all struggles are valid, but nobody would argue that living in poverty or experiencing trauma is not a difficult situation, regardless of someone's race. The truth is that growing up as a palm color person means never having to consider race for the majority of one's life. It's not something palm color people notice because the world is set up for their convenience. They have the power of being normal or in the default state. When palm color people say they are colorblind or don't notice differences in skin tone, it actually minimizes BIPOC experiences and ignores implicit biases. Now, palm color privilege is not about blaming palm color people for the advantages they have, because how can you be blamed for something you have never had to consider? Now, the phrase is about helping palm color people realize their systematic advantages over non-palm color people and that they can make efforts to ensure equality. If you're a palm color person and looking to help fight for the equality of all races, the first step comes with acknowledging that palm color privilege exists. In all areas, there is a gap between those with palm color privilege and those without. So when it comes to generational wealth and particularly property ownership, the experience of violence and other indicators of quality of life. Now, palm color privilege can be a difficult concept for many to grasp and even harder to acknowledge and act upon. However, for those palm color individuals who refuse to accept the existence of palm color privilege, I urge you to take a moment of introspection and ask yourself this question. If I was a Black person or person of color, how would my experience today at this moment be different? Now, here are a few things I want you to consider. Would you be more likely to be stopped and questioned by law enforcement? Would you face discrimination in job search, housing, or education? Would you be subjected to microaggressions, stereotypes, and biases in your daily interactions? Would you have equal access to healthcare resources and opportunities? Now, reflecting on these questions can help you understand the subtle yet profound ways in which palm color privilege affects the lives of Black and people of color. It's not about blaming you, but acknowledging the systemic inequalities that exist and working towards a more equitable society. I feel there's a pressing need for many palm color individuals to recognize inherent benefits they receive from a system that perpetuates racial inequality. It's really surprising how some, like this lady in question, fail to acknowledge the advantages they enjoy simply because of their palm-coloredness. As she pointed out, her lack of material possessions such as a car and money have led her to believe she doesn't benefit from palm color privilege. However, this misconception highlights a crucial misunderstanding because palm color privilege isn't solely defined by socioeconomic status. It's about the systemic inequalities that grant palm color individuals an earned advantage over Black and people of color. Regardless of her financial situation, this lady is still shielded from the discriminatory experiences that Black people and people of color endure daily. She doesn't face the same risks of racial profiling, police brutality, or discriminatory hiring practices. Her palm-coloredness serves as a protective barrier, affording her a sense of security and dignity that's often denied to those with darker skin. And it's important for every palm color individual to confront and acknowledge these realities rather than dismissing or downplaying their role in perpetuating systemic racism. We have finally come to the end of the video, but what do you our viewers have to say? Share your thoughts, your contributions as well in the comment section. Thank you for always watching and see you in our next video as we bring you another video.